Okay, guys, 2025, April 28th, first ever video on YouTube. This feels surreal. Just me talking into some OG, well, not OG, but 2019 Modern Warfare Warzone clips. Before I even start the video and talk about the topic that I want to talk about today, I want to give a big shout out to BizPath, YLearn, Once Faded, and my mentor Victor. Uh, these people really inspired me to really start my YouTube channel out of the blue. And I'll get into that more when we're on that topic. But I just wanted to give a quick shout out to all of them, especially BizPath. Just seeing his videos talking about how to make it in life, being successful while him slaying zombies, playing OG Modern Warfare clips is really nostalgic. Uh, it's something that really resonated with me because when I was 11 years old, watching OG Optics, OG Phase, I remember my favorite YouTuber back then was XJaws for Modern Warfare 2. I wanted to do something like that myself, but I just don't know why I never did it. Like I remember looking at game capture cards for my Xbox 360, YouTube channel. I played around with like Sony Vegas. I don't know if people still use Sony Vegas, but back then that used to be the big thing. Again, guys, I'm new to like video editing and content creation, so bear with me here. But, it's like what that saying goes, right? The perfect time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second perfect time is now. And I'm banking in on that second perfect time right now. And I just wanted to give a huge thanks and shout out to BizPath, YLearn, and my mentor Victor because, fuck it. I'm going all in now, you know? So the topic of today's video is going to be the key to getting rich, or at least my blueprint as to right now. The key to getting rich is a 9 to 5 plus a side hustle. And it's kind of ironic because I'm starting my side hustle before I find my 9 to 5. I might be the first content creator that wants a 9 to 5 while making content creation, but maybe that'll change. Who knows? Maybe this video will blow up and my life will change. But keys to getting consistent. I wanted to talk about some of those points as to why a 9 to 5 might help you with your side hustle. Because, for the longest time, for the last couple of years especially, there's been a big boom in the red pill movement talking about how you need to be your own boss, you need to create something of yourself. And I agree with all of those things. You know, life is too short to just kind of follow rules by the book and, be told what to do. Sometimes in life you want to try your own thing, and I think everyone should. You know, I live in a free country. I hope you too as well. And I think everyone should try it. But there's also some things about a 9 to 5 that are often overlooked and stigmatized for no reason just because it's trendy. And I think that's what kind of happened in the last couple of years. So here are my points. Right. One of the most obvious points for having a 9 to 5 that can help with your side hustle is you pretty much have disposable income to throw into your side hustle. Right. You don't have to worry about a lot of the other expenses. Like for starters, if you have to worry about rent the next day or grocery the next day, then you need to set your priorities straight. Focus on that first and, you know, then worry about what your side hustle is going to be. A 9 to 5 job can help you invest money into buying equipment for better content, for example, in my case, and grow your channel, while being able to cover basic expenses like rent, food, and everything else. Another point that a lot of people overlook is a 9 to 5 actually makes you look forward to what happens after work. All right, like how many times, guys, have you woke up, ate, gone to work, ate, got off work, chilled a little bit, ate, and slept and repeated the whole process again? Right? I understand if that's what you want to do. Again, I'm not judging at all because some people do love that lifestyle. There's a form of repetition and they're okay with that. And I completely respect that. But there's also a large number of people that I know that you probably know that don't want that. Looking forward to something after work can not only provide a sense of purpose in your life, but surprisingly, it would actually make you look forward to your 9 to 5. So it's kind of like this loop where you look forward to, getting off work to work on your side hustle. And at the same time, after finishing your side hustle, you're looking forward to waking up the next day to go to work on your 9 to 5. And an explanation of this is not because you love your 9 to 5, but simply because you have a busy schedule. That's the most important point here, guys. You have a busy schedule. A busy schedule does not have time for feelings or thoughts, just action. And surprisingly, guys, that might be all you need. Heck, that's what I need. That's why I'm doing this in the first place, guys, right? My mentor talks about staying in motion. The more you stand still, the more lost you're going to be. If you keep moving, you might not get to the right destination yet, right? You might actually end up lost still, but at the very least, you are moving. You're making efforts into reaching your destination. Standing still in life requires no effort, meaning you are lost and you're not even making an effort in life, which also means you are not contributing to society whatsoever. And most importantly, you're not contributing to yourself. A 9 to 5 can actually help you realize what you want, or even most importantly, what you don't want, right? I remember my mentor telling me, hey, just go work some job, because if you hate it, at least you'll know you hate it and you can do something else. A lot of people hasn't even gotten their first job, or they haven't even tried like a proper 9 to 5 for them to realize whether they like it or not. They're just hopping on the bandwagon and saying, "Oh, I don't want one," just because it's trendy. But there's some people who, hopped on the bandwagon, and once they got a comfortable 9 to 5 job, they were okay with the lifestyle. They had consistent cash flow coming in. They were able to pay their expenses and still have a little bit of money spare to do what they want. And they had no complaints. And honestly, if you found out that working a corporate job or working a 9 to 5 in general suits you, and you're smiling every day and you're looking forward to the next day, my friend, you have already won. You can click off this video and buy yourself a beer, because you have already won. You have probably achieved everything, and you have achieved the number one thing that most people hasn't even achieved until they were 60 or 70, you know? So if you have realized that, then I just wanted to sincerely congratulate you, and I'm so happy for you, because that achievement of being content in life is probably one of the biggest of like objectives that as men we go through, or any person in that matter, right? I'll give you a personal example, right? uh I was unemployed, funny enough, during COVID, right? I mean, I still am. But during that time, that's when I was like full on uh down bad per se during COVID. I read self-improvement books, went to the gym, had the right mindset, but I still felt useless and hopeless. Fast forward to 2024, last year, I found a job at a bank. I was paid like, $21 an hour, not much. But during that time I worked there, I had zero questions in my place in society, and even had money to spare to invest in the stock market, because I was able to cover my bills, and I would just kind of throw $1,000, 1,500, 2,000, into the stock market and see how things go. And even though, the job that I was doing was kind of entry level, the fact that I was busy and staying in motion took away all of those, anxious thoughts or whatsoever. Now, I'll talk about it in another video as to why I left. That's going to be very, very interesting. But the point here, guys, is you have to go work a scheduled job while working a side hustle in order for you to make it. Oftentimes, a lot of, you know, YouTubers or influencers you see online say, "Oh, you got to go all in. You got, it's plan A and plan A. There's no plan B." The reason why they can say that is because they're able to afford just going plan A. There's a lot of people in this world that cannot afford a plan A all in. They need a plan B, because if they do not succeed with plan A, and if they don't have a plan B as well, they're off to the streets, right? I think a lot of motivational advice online, for the most part, is very, very useful, but you also need to relate that realistic advice to your practical life. Because because an advice, or a statement that you hear is realistic, that doesn't mean it's also practical in your life. Are you able to apply that to your life, or are you just agreeing just because it makes sense? Because there's a lot of things that make sense in life, guys, but does it make sense to you? That is the number one thing you have to figure out. So yeah, I just wanted to come on here, talk about that. uh Let me know in the comments, guys, if you kind of like this format. Like I said, I was really inspired by BizPath and my mentors and all the guys I mentioned earlier. So I'll be definitely staying consistent. This is something that lit a fire in me, and I'm just gonna keep pushing, guys. Thank you. See you in the next vid.